Hi, my name is Colby Sharp. I'm a fifth grade teacher in Michigan. Welcome to my channel where we try to help kids fall in love with reading by talking about awesome books and doing awesome things to make their reading lives fantastic. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you the 3 books that I think have a shot to win the Caldecott Medal and the 3 books that I think have a shot that I'm rooting for that I think could win the Newbery Medal, 2 of the most distinguished awards in children's literature here in the United States. If you're new here, please consider subscribing so that you can be notified anytime I post something new. Caldecott. Let's start here. All of the wonderful Caldecott Medal winning books over the years. So amazing. I am just always fascinated by what's going to win. This is the book at the beginning of the year, An American Story by Kwame Alexander, art by Dare Coulter. I think Dare has a chance to win the Caldecott Medal for this book. I think it is one of the most beautiful books created this year. It's got my favorite page turn of all, from here to here. It's so powerful. It takes your breath away. I fully expect this to be the book on January 22nd during the American Library Association's Youth Media Awards that wins the most awards. I could see this book winning or being honored by the Seibert Committee for Nonfiction, the Coretta Scott King Author Award, the Coretta Scott King Illustrator Award, the Newbery Award, and the Caldecott Award. I could see this book littered with stickers because it is distinguished. The writing, the art, the storytelling is absolutely magnificent. One of the greatest books written for children in the last 10 years. One of the most important books you will ever read and have and share with kids. An American Story, truly remarkable. Oh, that's all. We're off to a great start. Next up, Jumper, A Day in the Life of a Backyard Jumping Spider. I've loved this book since I first read it earlier this year. And this is one of those books, look at that case, that I didn't read for a while, but it seemed like everyone was talking about on social media. And just like this backyard spider, seriously, look at this spread. I love this book. I love the back matter back here. I hope that this book gets a chance to be honored by the Caldecott Committee, maybe the Seibert too. It's just really a magical, beautiful, interesting, fascinating book that I think leads kids to want to read more, to know more. Wow, Jumper, fantastic. Maybe my favorite picture book of the year, just like I enjoy, like in terms of like reading to kids. I think Big will be one of those books that I read to children for the rest of my teaching career. The story of a young girl who is celebrated for being big and cute when she's little, but as she gets older, people aren't so kind to her about her size. And there's a couple spreads in here. I don't want to show you everything because I want you to experience the story, but definitely a book that I expect to be honored by the Caldecott Committee. I would be so happy to hear them say, and a Caldecott honor or Caldecott medal goes to Vashti Harrison for Big. That would just make my day. Okay, so those are my 3 picks for Caldecott. Now let's get into the oldest award, the Newbery Medal. I've read every single Newbery Medal winning book from the story of mankind all the way through this year. There have been so many books. Free Water this year, right? Oh my gosh. Or I guess now it was last year's Newbery Medal winning book. So many great books, so many unforgettable books. You know, you have Kraft's New Kid in there. You have Kwame Alexander's Crossover. You have books that have received honors like Charlotte's Web. Another medal winner, Maniac Magee, Hatchet, won an honor. There's just so many great books, and it is truly a just snapshot into different time periods in children's literature. And I'm excited to share with you 3 books that I think have a real shot. So I wanted to pick a graphic novel. We've had 3 graphic novels honored in the last decade: El Deafo, Roller Girl, New Kid. And I think Mexikid, for me, by Pedro Martin, is the book that has a real shot. The story of this child and his family who go on a road trip from the United States into like way down south into Mexico to pick up their grandfather to bring him home to live with them. The adventures that they go on, what you learn about the family, what you learn about life in this book is fascinating. I almost went with Dan Santat's A First Time for Everything, but my thinking was I want both books to win, and maybe Dan Santat's, because Prince is 14 and over, Newbery's like 14 and under. I could like maybe Dan can get a Prince honor. Dan could win the Newbery medal too. Who knows? But this is one that I'm really keeping my eye on. January 22nd for the Newbery, and I'm just crossing my fingers that I hear it's called. Next up, I wanted to pick a nonfiction book this year because it was one of the books that I couldn't stop thinking about. The Mona Lisa Vanishes by Nicholas Day. As someone who doesn't read a ton of middle grade nonfiction, I couldn't stop reading this. I couldn't stop thinking about this book. I was just one of those books too, where you just want to tell everyone everything about. It's like when you're watching a new show and you're like that annoying person who just wants to tell everyone about the show and they like don't know anything about it. I was doing that with this book. I was just telling everyone who would listen about the Mona Lisa Vanishes. It talks about everything behind the book, from the person who painted the Mona Lisa to Mona Lisa herself, to how it was stolen, to how it became famous because it was stolen, to the investigation to try to recover it. All packed in these pages. I don't know how it was done, but I would love to hear it called. I think it's got a shot. It's so good. And then finally, a book that is on a lot of the Newbery, like the mock list, but I don't know if people really like think it can win. But I think this is the best book of the year. I read it between 6 and 8 times. I read it aloud just to myself one day in the last summer. The Skull by John Klassen. It's his take on an old folk tale that he found in like a library or bookstore, I think Alaska or something. I can't remember where he found, but it's just different and weird and intense and dark and mysterious and distinguished. So this is my pick for the Newbery Medal, The Skull by John Klassen. Just about every kid that sits in this classroom has read it, and they all want to talk about it when they finish. They all find it fascinating. Most of them don't know what to think. Children's literature at its finest. I hope you found something to add to your to-read list. I cannot wait to see which books are honored by the committee, because we'll have so many more books to celebrate, new books to read, and books that we've loved. We will just know that they'll get a chance to be read for years and decades to come. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Colby Sharp. I hope you have an awesome-tastic day.